Here we go. Time to go. Welcome. This is Mainline Executive Coaching ACT. We're happy to have you here today. We are really happy because we've got some great stuff to tell you folks today. Those people that are leaders, aspiring leaders, want to be leaders, hoping one day to become a great leader. We got some great stuff, down to earth facts on feet on the ground kind of stuff. And it's going to cut through all the nonsense stuff that sometimes you hear out there about leadership development and all that kind of stuff. But here we go. Mainline Executive Coaching ACT, and cultural transformation. You leaders are the key. I'm here today with my partner, Rich Bear, and I'm Michael Bailey. And we're going to be discussing this notion of the myth of the natural born leader. So let's open it with that. How many of you think that you're natural born leaders? I just got it. I got look at this. This is all, woohoo, don't touch, but just look.
Yeah, you kids get off my lawn.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And so let's start talking about this natural born leader. If you think you're a natural born leader, you may be having some qualities there, but is that enough to keep the juice in the tank going to get it across the line and bring everybody there? Maybe, maybe not, and maybe there's another way to do this. So, Rich, let's talk about that. What about natural born leaders, or those that believe they got it?
Well, bottom line is there is no such thing as a natural born leader. There might be people who come about learning and developing those abilities easily, but it's not because they're a natural born leader. And there's so much that goes into that. As a young person, it could be your upbringing, could be the way your family is, could be coaches you've had early on, athletic coaches, soccer, baseball, whatever, youth sports. A lot of these young people coming up have the ability to learn these things, and they're learning how to develop skills and abilities and talents. But when you talk about being a natural born leader, leadership skills are just like anything else, just like baseball, just like sports, just like playing music, just like learning how to talk in front of people. It takes time to develop these skills, and you have to go down a particular path. You can't go out there and what probably learn the banjo and say I'm a guitar player. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It doesn't. You've got to go down the right path. Even though that you're learning music, it's a dedicated path to being a leader. And so really, no, there's no natural born leaders. You might be born athletic. You might be born naturally talented in some ways, like maybe attractive. You might be attractive, but really, being a leader it's not naturally gifted to you.
You may have some traits about leadership that
Yeah.
that work well for you, that just kind of come to the forefront, and people kind of see it. Maybe part of the package of how you look or how you talk or how
Yeah.
you present yourself. Some of that, just the superficial stuff that goes on, right? There may be part of that. There may be some other things that you've got going on there, but there's a difference between being able to have this stuff at some level, what level, whether you've got a lot of it or a little bit of it, and then being able to do something with it. Leadership is a doing process. It's not just a show up, here I am kind of stuff. It is a doing process. And so if you're not as a leader really in that groove of doing, of learning, of working, of applying, and working with other people and figuring this stuff out, if you're not deep into it, you can't expect to come out of it with a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom
Yeah.
of actually how to get it done and to step into it. Because people oftentimes look at these leaders, and the ones have busted their tails to really become great at it. Guarantee you, they have worked hard. They
Yeah.
have studied hard. They have put themselves in difficult situations to figure these things out, to tackle big challenges, complex challenges, so that over time they develop the character, the strength, the endurance, right? As well as the skills. There's a lot of talk about skills. Uh, However, as we were talking about before, the person that's just kind of got the natural role, just roll it out to be a leader, and that person that wants to really be a leader and works at it, that person's indicating, I got character. because I'm willing to go into the deep, hard, difficult stuff and pound it out, work it through. That's showing that persistence, that stick-to-itiveness, that I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to, even when I fall flat on my face, I'm going to keep getting up. That's the kind of person you want, that kind of tenacity and that kind of wisdom, as well as, because you start looking at it, there's all the compassion as well, because they understand failure. They know how it hurts and how painful it can be, and putting yourself back together and having failed. They get it. Therefore, they've got more to bring to their teams, because I know, I've been there, I've done it. We're going to do it anyway. We're going to get through it.
And those of us that sit on the side and just think, man, this guy's really got it, or this gal's really got it, man, they're so lucky. Luck has nothing to do with it. It's the hours and hours and hours that they worked to get to that point where it was natural. There's a saying, Michael, that the final level of mastery in anything is the ability to make it look natural.
Yeah.
The final level. And there's a difference between, the final being the final level versus being born. That was born to that. That's not the case. The final level. That means there's been a lot of other levels come before that, however many levels that may be. But the final level being that mastery to make it look natural.
Yeah, let's make a distinction. I think this is an important thing to make, that there are outstanding players in sports. We're just talking about some in music. They are outstanding. They are brilliant, and they can put up some incredible tunes, performances, statistics. They can do that, but in private, in their own personal life, they are a wreck.
Yes.
And I'm not judging them. I have a lot of compassion for them, that they're brilliant in this and they're a total mess over here. So, and when I want to make the distinction here, just because you got something here that's going on that you're really, really good at, and that you're just a train wreck over here, that does not make you a great leader. That makes you an excellent performer. But an excellent performer is not necessarily a great leader. And a leader is both that person that has that ability to perform and to lead, to be the example, to understand how to work with the team and to bring out the best in the team.
Yes.
So you may be one of those leaders that you're really good at your own performance, of showing up and do what it is that you do, and then you expect to be just to be deferred to because you're so good at what it is that you do. But that's a self-deception. Just because you're good at that doesn't mean that people ought to follow you, because otherwise you really could be a train wreck and get right off the rails.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So there's a difference, and that's an important thing to see, I think, in terms of leadership development.
Yep. And I think there's a lot of this that comes, like you just said, there's someone might be very charismatic, and very friendly and outgoing, and man, I want to follow this guy anywhere. If this person would understand, and if they hadn't been taken any leadership development before, if this person could take those natural abilities they have, that charisma, that ability to stand up after being knocked down, all of these things that people really admire, and take that to the next level, how far is that guy going to go in life? That gal going to go in life as a leader? They've already got a lot of abilities that they've built throughout their lives, but that does not mean they're a leader. We've talked to people like this, Michael, and there's a lot of them that I got to give a lot of credit for, because they've gone up the corporate ladder quite a ways. Matter of fact, a couple of these people we've talked to are in the C-suite and have come to us and said, "Hey, I've worked my life and I've got to this level, and I've done really good at what I've done, and I know my job." And now they're going, "But I'm here, and I really don't know the next step about being a leader. I'm finding out that it's not enough to simply know my job, and it really isn't." And now they're coming to us and saying, "Can you help us? What can we do to get to that next level? What can we do to start learning how to be a leader?" And it doesn't mean you don't know your job. That's a distinction that people really need to make. Is understanding your job is one thing. Understanding how to do your job is one thing. Understanding how to be a leader and leading people is completely different.
Different skill set.
A different skill set. And even though they know you know your job, that doesn't mean you have the ability to stand in front of people and talk to them. That's a leadership talent. You need to work on working with people, talking with people, presenting yourself to people, communicating with people, showing them that they can trust you, and believing in them and getting on their level, bringing them and helping them come up to your level. Those skills don't come naturally. They don't.
They don't. It's an interesting thing talking about performers and leadership. I don't know why this came to mind. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is a brilliant actor, character actor. He's absolutely freaking brilliant. I mean, the Pirates of the Caribbean, he just ran the whole thing. He just ran away with it. Yeah. He is the Pirates of the Caribbean, right? And I'm thinking somebody like Jimmy Stewart, Clark Gable, the old Hollywood actors.
Yeah.
Now, here's kind of a difference. I would never have Johnny Depp lead me in anything. And I let him be a brilliant performer, a brilliant actor, but in terms of his character, I don't think so. I'm not sure. But Jimmy Stewart, Clark Gable, those are guys that actually served in World War II. They were actually out in the battle. They were fighting. There was and they were leading out there. And if you watch their movies before World War II and then you watch them afterwards, there was something that happened to them. There was an understanding about life and death, about men and working with men and being responsible for other people. There was a whole different thing that they brought to the screen that I think made them even more interesting, even more compelling in their work on screen. And so this notion here of, again, I love what you're saying about you have a brilliant performer. That does not equate to brilliant leadership. And if we assume that, we're probably going to get ourselves in some real problems. Because I knew a guy who was pretty good at what he did, but as a leader, he was kind of sad, kind of dopey. But he never recognized it.
Right.
Never recognized it. So what we can do here is say, what is it that you need to do? First thing, you got to be as honest with yourself. Right?
Yes.
You think you're a natural born leader, as the title says here. Probably it's time to pull it out. Take a look at what, pull out your head and just take a look at what am I really thinking? What am I really saying? What am I really expecting myself? How am I working with the teams? How are they seeing me? What's really going on here? Because if you think you are, good chance you're not.
Right. And we've had, Michael, and I don't mean to, I'm not here to down people. I'm not here to belittle anybody, but we've had those people that have looked down their noses at us.
Yeah.
And because of their position, because of their title, because of who they are, it's like, I don't need leadership development. What are you talking about? I don't need this. What are you talking about? And at the same token, they're running a $400 million company into the dirt. On the other hand, I mean, legitimately, this is not something, we're making up. It's I can show you everything, you need to know about leadership. Okay, so why have you got the highest industry turnover period in your industry? You've taken a $400 million company and tanked it. And I'm not talking down about these people, but the simple fact is, there's no judgment. The simple fact is we've had this happen to us time and time again. No thanks, I'm good. No thanks, I'm good. And I'm not saying we're the saviors. I'm not saying we're the end all be all of leadership development. What I'm saying is we bring a certain set of tools to the table that can help people understand where to start. What's your starting point? Where's your individual starting point? And that's a good thing that we can bring to the table and know where to start down that path with you.
And this is an excellent time to bring reality to the situation. And by that, I mean, this is an instance, I can think of several other instances where they thought that they were brilliant. They had companies, they're growing these companies, the companies are just prospering and flourishing and all sorts of things. And they're making mistakes along the way.
Yeah.
Not every, project, not everything that they're doing, works out, but they've got enough leeway in that stuff, momentum in the business and the economy, that they can kind of ride over those bumps. Okay. What they don't realize was this: they were lucky.
Yes.
They were lucky. And they're in a good time. The economy was good. The economy was growing. Money was flush across the board. Lots of people wanting to invest cash all over the place.
Money was cheap. Yeah,
yes.
Money was cheap.
And now that economy is not what we have now, and cash is drying up, and there's all sorts of opportunities in turn that are drying up. Now they're starting to see the reality of their leadership. And this now, that's the first point I want to make here. If you're riding high, riding fast, but now you're finding this contraction that we're in economically throughout the world, if you're being caught in that same contraction as a leader of a company, you got to start asking yourselves, did I really have it? Did I ever really have it? And do I have it now? Now, here's the most honest thing that you can do. The most honest thing you can do is not keep patting yourself on the back and say, we'll pull it out, we'll get it done, da, 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 da. The most honest thing that you can do for you and your company is to get a survey. Get an actual survey of what's going on. Get the facts, get the figures, get the data so that you can look at it honestly. Stop, sniffing the wrong stuff. Look at it. See it for what it is. Get out of the dream world. Get out of your own PR and take a look at it. Have an honest look at it. Pull your head out and get the data you need. Otherwise, your delusions of yourself or your ego of yourself, however you want to put it, may sink you. And in fact, this one company that you're talking about, it has cost not only the company a huge downturn, but it has cost hundreds of jobs.
Hundreds of jobs.
Hundreds of jobs. And they're still whacking away at it just because they weren't honest. Now, that's a big word.
Yeah.
The number one quality that people expect of leaders is integrity. Yeah. Part of that is honesty, right? Just being honest. If you're not willing to look at the reality, get the facts, get the data, do the deep survey, you, by default, are putting yourself in a position of not being honest because you're not willing to look honestly at the data. So that's the problem. That's what we say. We're not against you. In fact, we're all for you. We want you to succeed. We want you to be brilliant. We want your companies to flourish and be successful.
Absolutely. It hurts everybody when companies fail.
But it
hurts families, it hurts the economy, it hurts everything.
Get the data. Get the real stuff so that you can make prudent decisions. Yeah. That's the whole thing, I think. Stop, flying on the clouds. Get down to earth here. Let's take a look at what's really going on here.
Yeah.
My golly, we'll help get you there. Yeah. We can help you.
Absolutely. And not only that, like I got this analogy. Okay, this analogy. And everybody, I talk about baseball a lot. I love baseball. It's the best. Okay, I'm just going to say that my humble opinion is the best. There's a gentleman by the name of Tom House, and arguably probably the best, the number one authority on pitching. Okay, which is a very difficult thing to do. There's a lot of mechanics. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of things that go into it. I know I've got a couple sons that have gone up into the college level. I got one just started the college level now, pitching. But Tom House said this thing. He said, you're going to get two pitchers come to me. One of them, and they both have excellent, mechanics, throw the ball hard, but one of them has worked with a coach. One of them has developed their skills naturally. Or so they think they have. But they're both good pitchers. Which one do you think is going to have the ability to move on and take additional coaching and additional advice, having understood what it took to get there in the first place? It's a no-brainer. It really is a no-brainer. But if you don't have a coach, people, if you don't have some type of leadership development authority that's working with you, start on your own personal development. Start now. Start now. Start doing something. But here's the kicker. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in the next couple months. It's not going to happen maybe in a year or two, but it will happen eventually if you keep working at it. There's another, I read another interesting story today, Michael, kind of another analogy about a $40 million ship that was broke down, okay, not going anywhere. So they called up a mechanic to come and work on it. So the mechanic comes in, looks at this ship for a few minutes, looks at the engine room, takes out a hammer and taps on it in a few places and starts right up. Everything is fixed. And he sends the company a bill for $20,000. And they're like, what are you talking about? You only tapped your hammer a couple times and you were in and out in 5 minutes. And he said, no, you don't understand. It took me 30 years to learn where to tap and how long to tap for. You're not paying for my time. You're paying for my experience, my expertise.
Exactly. And therein is the difference. You can go and do this yourself at some level, and that's cool. That's cool. If you're really, there's a lot that goes into learning that self-learning stuff. Yeah. There's a very small percentage of the population that really is really good at it. It's like 2 to 3% that's really good at that. Chances are you're probably not part of the 2 or 3%. You're going to need a little bit of help to get that to happen here. And so what you got going on here is this. What we can help you do is to accelerate the process. And that's a big distinction, because we can take a look through our surveys, who you are, how you work. What are your strengths? What are your things that are not so great? Where do you shoot yourself in the foot? What are the things that are just really holding you back? We can evaluate it without judgment. And then we can start putting you in a position now to start addressing these things, not all at once, but piece by piece by piece, so that you're actually now bringing it all together. And it's not the fact that we're just helping you to bring it all together. In that process of learning skills, we're teaching you now the skills of learning skills. That's the big deal. I know you probably went to college, you probably did a whole lot of other things, but you've probably been out of it for a while. So you forgot about what that is. Beyond that, the deliberate ability to understand how you do it, how you actually learn the skills of learning skills is huge, because those in and of themselves are tools. If you don't know what the tools are of how you learn and how you build skills, you're going to be thrashing out there, just thrashing around in the water out there. So part of this whole process of accelerating is the surveys, are the self-discipline that we bring to you, the accountability, the focus. You may think it's this, and we say, no, according to what we're looking at, we're saying this is the real problem. Let's go over here and address this. It changes everything up, because like we were talking about, sometimes the natural leaders or people who believe they're natural leaders, they just don't know what they don't know. Like you say, they kind of rely on what it is that they've always done. They think, I got it. I already got it. I don't need to go get it. And so we can change that up for you in huge ways, that all of a sudden it starts simplifying, it starts focusing. There's not all these distractions. And all of a sudden, the pieces start coming together very, very quickly. And there's a whole new momentum that starts happening, because you've got somebody there to assist you, to see it, to feel it, to go after it, to go do it in an orderly manner without getting buried and overwhelmed and all the other nonsense that just doesn't need to happen. So if you got yourself a situation here, a little bit of a situation, we can help you out.
We can help you. We can help you. So, Michael, I think we're at the end here.
We are. Let's wrap it up.
We've done enough.
We have done enough.
Hopefully, people hope you're listening to what we have to say, because we've talked to these people on both sides of the fence. We know people on both sides of the fence, and we know what's holding the people back on one side and what the others went through to get to the other side. So
when you're gonna pay. Yeah. Brutal pain of getting there through all this stuff. Get somebody who knows how to do it and help you get you there faster.
Yep, absolutely.
So a shout out here. To whom should we shout out today?
Oh my word, we've got a lot of great people to shout out to. We've got a lot of new listeners.
Yeah.
They've been downloading some things.
I'm looking at some folks, Brazil.
Brazil.
I'm sorry, folks in Brazil. I apologize. I know I'm going to slaughter this, and I don't mean to. Campo Grande, Mato Grosso do Sul. I believe that's there in Brazil. Probably slaughtered it. My apologies, but nonetheless, we are grateful that you're all watching.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Folks in Croatia. We've got some new listeners in Croatia. Thank you very much.
All right.
We appreciate everything you do. And again, here's the thing: leadership is not not something that just is within a certain company or within a certain organization, within
Or country.
or country. Leadership development is universal. Being a good leader is universal. So it doesn't matter where you are. Call us.
Email us. Text us.
Email us. Yeah,
absolutely. Keep those cards and letters coming in, folks.
And tell us how to pronounce the name of the town you're from correctly. We need coaching on that.
We need a little bit of help ourselves.
Yep.
All right. That's it then.
All right, folks. So once again, we appreciate all you do for us. We appreciate listening to us, and take care of each other. Help serve each other. Make someone's day brighter and help them smile. That's all. That's the best you can do. It's the best we can all do is to pick up our fellow man and help them have a great day. So that's what we want to do for you, and we hope you're going to do it for each other. And until next time, take care. We'll see you again.
All the best to you, folks.